Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Sarah Mujtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Government reiterates its commitment to form MSP committee after the state assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addresses voters of Meerut, Ghaziabad, Aligarh, Hapur and Noida. Filing of nominations for 6th phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh begins. Senior BJP leader and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath files nomination from Gorakhpur constituency. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 168 crore 47 lakh mark. Schools, colleges and universities to reopen in Delhi from Monday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil Statue of Equality in Hyderabad tomorrow. India expresses concern over China's effort to politicize Beijing Winter Olympics. Music lovers pay homage to doyen of Indian classical music Pandit Bhimsen Joshi on his birth anniversary. And in cricket, India to face England in the final of Under-19 World Cup at Antigua tomorrow. As the number of COVID-19 cases is rising fast in several parts of the country, we appeal to our listeners to be vigilant and to get fully vaccinated and help others, including children between 15 and 18 years, get vaccinated. With the new Omicron variant of coronavirus causing concern, please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. The government today reiterated its commitment to provide minimum support price to farmers for their produce, saying a committee, as announced earlier, will be formed after the completion of state assembly elections to make MSP more effective. Replying to supplementaries in the Rajya Sabha, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said the government had referred the issue of forming a committee on MSP to the Election Commission. He said the Commission has asked the government to set up the committee after the polls. Minister of State for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Kailash Chaudhary said the government has increased the MSP by 1.5 times and it is continuously procuring crops on this basis from the farmers.
एमएसपी भारत सरकार का प्रशासनिक निर्णय है। ये निर्णय अनेक वर्षों से चल रहा है और पिछले 7 वर्षों में एमएसपी पर जिंसों की खरीद भी बढ़ाई गई है और एमएसपी को पहले से दोगुने दाम दिए गए हैं और अभी जो बजट प्रस्तुत हुआ उसमें भी 2,37,000 करोड़ रुपया किसानों को लाभकारी मूल्य के लिए दिया जाए। जहां तक गारंटी कानून का सवाल है, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इन सब विषयों पर विचार करने के लिए इस पर एक समिति बनाने की घोषणा की है, जिसमें किसान भी होंगे, अर्थशास्त्री भी होंगे, वैज्ञानिक भी होंगे, सरकार के प्रतिनिधि भी होंगे, राज्य सरकार के प्रतिनिधि भी होंगे। ये कमेटी जैसे ही विधानसभाओं के चुनाव निबट जाएंगे, कमेटी के बनाने का मार्ग प्रशस्त होगा और वो कमेटी जो रिकमेंडेशन करेगी उस पर सरकार विचार करेगी।
The government today said 1,000 mandis of 401 districts are utilizing National Agriculture Market (ENAM) across 18 states and 3 union territories. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said more than 1 crore 72 lakh farmers and 2 lakh traders have registered themselves on ENAM platform. He said the total budgetary outlay for integration of 1,000 ENAM mandis since inception is around 1,172 crore rupees. Rajya Sabha today continued its discussion on motion of thanks to President Ram Nath Kovind's address to both the Houses of Parliament. Participating in the discussion, Prasanna Acharya of BJP lauded the steps taken by the government for highlighting the sacrifices made by the freedom fighters, including Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He raised the issue of women reservation, demanding to bring legislation in this regard. He said it is high time to bring the Women's Reservation Bill to provide proper representation to them in Parliament and state assemblies. He questioned the government over its approach towards states, saying that federalism is the essence of Indian democracy, which is being undermined. The BJD MP also talked about farmers' plight in the country. K. Somaprasad of CPIM said
the President's address does not reflect the social and political realities of the country. Raising the issue of COVID-19 pandemic, he said no adequate protection was provided to the frontline workers. He also raised the issue of rise in petroleum prices and disinvestment of profit-making PSUs. Manoj Jha of RJD said the President's address does not reflect the real issues of different parts of the country. He raised the issue of unemployment in the country. Mr. Jha demanded special category status to Bihar, saying the country cannot develop until Bihar develops. Participating in the discussion, Priyanka Chaturvedi of Shiva Sena said, the President's address does not talk about the deaths of farmers during their protest against the 3 farm laws. She highlighted the issue of harassment of women on social media platforms. K. Ramendra Kumar of TDP also spoke on the motion of thanks to the President's address. Opposition parties today staged a walkout over the issue of returning of a bill by the Tamil Nadu governor. The State Assembly had passed a bill exempting Tamil Nadu's students from NEET exam, which was returned by the governor, terming it as against the interest of students. When the upper house met for the day, DMK members tried to raise the issue, which was disallowed by Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu.
The government today said 613,95,000 metric ton paddy has been procured up to the 24th of last month during the ongoing Kharif marketing season 2021-22. In a written reply in the Rajya Sabha, the Minister of State for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Ashwini Kumar Chaubey, said the paddy has been procured from around 79 lakh farmers at the minimum support price value of over 1,20,000 crore rupees. India's trade deficit with China has declined from $63.05 billion in 2017-18 to $44.02 billion in the financial year 2020-21. This was stated by the Minister of State for Commerce and Industry, Anupriya Patel, in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha today. The minister said $65.21 billion worth of imports were made from China, whereas India exported $21.19 billion worth of goods to China. She said the major items of exports to China are engineering goods, electronic goods, marine products, organic and petroleum products, among others. The minister said the government has made sustained efforts to achieve a more balanced trade with China. She said the government also launched the Production-Linked Incentive Scheme to promote domestic manufacturing capacities in various sectors.
Over 168 crore 47 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 55 lakh 58,000 doses were administered yesterday. Recovery rate is currently at 95.39%. Over 2,46,000 recoveries in the last 24 hours increases total recoveries to over 4 crore. India's active caseload currently stands at 14,35,569. Active cases stand at 3.42%. Over 1,49,000 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. Daily positivity rate is at 9.27% and weekly positivity rate is at 12.03%. 1,072 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours as well. Over 73 crore 58 lakh tests have been conducted so far. Over 16 lakh 11,000 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry has said that more than 165 crore 20 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to the states and UTs so far through the centre's free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. It said more than 10 crore 71 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs to be administered.
The Delhi government today announced that all schools, colleges, universities and educational institutes will reopen from Monday. The decision was taken by Delhi Disaster Management Authority, DDMA. However, classes for nursery to class 8 will be reopened from the 14th of this month. Briefing reporters in New Delhi today after the DDMA meeting, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia said the decision was taken in view of the declining of COVID-19 cases in the national capital. He said higher education will be completely in physical mode. All government and private offices in the national capital have been permitted to function at 100% capacity. Mr. Sisodia said the timing of the night curfew in Delhi will now be 11 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. All restaurants can now open till 11 p.m. Mr. Sisodia said gyms and swimming pools will also be reopened from Monday. The Rajasthan government has ended the night curfew in the state with further relaxing of COVID restrictions. The guidelines issued by the Home Department will be applicable from tomorrow. More from our Jaipur correspondent.
250 people have been allowed to attend social, religious and political events in the new guidelines. The government has ended the night curfew already imposed from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the entire state. Permission has been given to open all religious places for devotees. Meanwhile, the number of active cases of COVID-19 in the state has come down to around 60,000. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Hyderabad tomorrow. He will visit the International Crops Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics Campus in Patancheru, Hyderabad, and kickstart the 50th anniversary celebrations of the institute. In the evening, the Prime Minister will dedicate the Statue of Equality in Hyderabad to the nation. The 216 feet tall Statue of Equality commemorates the 11th century Bhakti saint Sri Ramanujacharya, who promoted the idea of equality in all aspects of living, including faith, caste and creed. Mr. Modi will also visit the identical recreations of 108 Divya Deshams that surround the Statue of Equality. More details from our correspondent.
A Vedic philosopher and social reformer, Ramanujacharya was born in 1017 at Sri Perumbudur near Chennai in Tamil Nadu. Ramanuja revived the Bhakti movement and his preachings inspired poets like Annamacharya, Bhakt Ramdas, Tyagaraja, Kabir and Mirabai. He wrote 9 treatises known as the Navratnas and also authored numerous commentaries on Vedic scriptures. Ramanuja liberated millions from social, cultural, gender, educational and economic discrimination with a foundational conviction that every human is equal regardless of nationality, gender, race, religion, caste or creed. His greatest contribution is the propagation of the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means all the universe is one family. He travelled across the country for propagating his ideas of social equality and universal brotherhood. He spoke of universal salvation through devotion to God, compassion, humility, equality and mutual respect. Ramanuja also appealed for the protection of nature and its resources like air, water and soil. Ravi Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
The government has postponed the NEET PG 2022 examinations by 6 to 8 weeks. Earlier, the exam was scheduled to be held on the 12th of March this year. In a recent order, the Union Health Ministry said several representations from medical doctors are being received requesting the delay of NEET PG 2022 examination since it is clashing with the NEET PG 2021 counselling.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Government reiterates its commitment to form MSP committee after the state assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addresses voters of Meerut, Ghaziabad, Aligarh, Hapur and Noida. Filing of nominations for 6th phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh begins. Senior BJP leader and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath files nomination from Gorakhpur constituency. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 168 crore 47 lakh mark. Schools, colleges and universities to reopen in Delhi from Monday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil Statue of Equality in Hyderabad tomorrow. India expresses concern over China's effort to politicize Beijing Winter Olympics. Music lovers pay homage to doyen of Indian classical music, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, on his birth anniversary. And in cricket, India to face England in the final of Under-19 World Cup at Antigua tomorrow. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Welcome back to the Midday News. India has said it is regrettable that China has chosen to politicize the Winter Olympics. Replying to media queries on reports of China making a Galwan soldier the torchbearer at the sporting event, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said the Shahzada affair of the Indian Embassy in Beijing will not attend the opening or closing ceremony
of the Beijing Winter Olympics.
The Chinese side has chosen to politicize an event like the Olympics. I wish to inform that our chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of India in Beijing will not be attending the opening or the closing ceremony of the Beijing 22 Winter Olympics.
The United States has asserted that it stands with India on the matter of Chinese aggression. Several U.S. congressmen criticized China's choice as torchbearer for the Beijing Winter Olympics. China had chosen a PLA soldier who was part of the military command that attacked Indian soldiers in the Galwan Valley in 2020 as the torchbearer. Two top American senators also criticized Beijing for its decision. Addressing a news conference yesterday, State Department spokesperson Ned Price told reporters when it comes to the India-China border situation, U.S. continues to support direct dialogue and a peaceful resolution of the disputes. Meanwhile, DD Sports Channel will not live telecast the opening and closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics being held in Beijing, China. In a tweet, Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati said, consequent to the announcement by the Ministry of External Affairs, DD Sports Channel will not telecast live the opening and closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics.
Back home, the process of filing nominations for the 6th of the 7th phase assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh as well as the second and last phase polling process in Manipur has begun with the issuance of notification today. Filing of nominations for the 4th phase of assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh came to a close last evening and scrutiny of the nominations is being undertaken today. A total of 852 nominations were filed till last evening. The last date for withdrawal of candidature will be 7th of February. Filing of nominations is going on for the UP 5th phase along with the first of the 2-phase polling in Manipur. In all, 31 nominations were filed in Uttar Pradesh while 8 nominations were filed in Manipur for this phase till last evening. Nominations can be filed till 8th and scrutiny will be undertaken on 9th of February. The last date for withdrawal of candidature will be 11th of February. Senior BJP leader and Chief Minister of State Yogi Adityanath filed his nomination from the Gorakhpur constituency today. Polling in the constituency will be held in the 6th phase on 3rd of March. Nominations for this phase started today with the issuance of notification. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah along with Dharmendra Singh Pradhan accompanied Yogi Adityanath in the nomination process which took place at the Collectorate Office of Gorakhpur district.
In Manipur, the election notification for the second phase of the 12th general elections to Manipur Legislative Assembly was issued today. The polls for the second phase will be conducted for 22 assembly constituencies on the 3rd of next month. The last date for submission of the nomination paper for the second phase is the 11th of February. The submission of nomination papers for the first phase is going on in the state now. A report.
The last date of submission of nomination paper for the first phase will be on 8th of this month. 8 candidates of different political parties had submitted their nomination till yesterday. The Speaker of Manipur Legislative Assembly, Yumnam Khemchan Singh, submitted his nomination papers yesterday. He is contesting from Singjamai AC on BJP ticket. Former Minister Karam Sham Singh filed nomination papers and he is fighting the elections from Langtawan AC. The former DGP of Manipur also filed his nomination papers on Janata Dal United ticket and he is contesting from Churachandpur AC. Meanwhile, the election notification for second phase poll in Manipur is issued today and hectic political campaigning is seen in the state. This is JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR News.
In Uttarakhand, heavy rainfall and snowfall in certain areas have adversely affected political campaigning in the state. Political activities remain subdued due to low temperatures, rain and snowfall. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's virtual rally, due to be held today in 14 assembly segments in the Kumaon region of the state, has been cancelled due to bad weather. BJP media in charge said the event would be rescheduled soon. Apart from political campaigning, bad weather has also affected routes and connectivity in the upper reaches of the state.
The Election Commission has issued a notification today for conducting local body elections in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Polling for Gram Panchayats and Municipal Council will take place on 6th of March. Nominations can be filed from today till the 11th of February till 3 p.m. The last day to withdraw nominations is 14th of February. Scrutiny of nominations will be done on 12th Feb. Results will be declared on 8th of March. Now, the election campaign will speed up following EC's guidelines. The Gram Panchayat election is to be conducted through ballot papers, while EVMs, VVPAT machines will be used for municipal council election. Control rooms have been set up for receiving complaints regarding violation of Model Code of Conduct through phone lines. In Uttar Pradesh, the electoral campaign has gained momentum for the 7-phased assembly polls. Senior BJP leader and Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addressed the voters of Meerut, Ghaziabad, Aligarh, Hapur and Noida today. In his address at Jan Chaupal function, Mr. Modi said that the Yogi government has improved law and order in the last 5 years. He said that this time elections are different because it will ensure the stability of good governance and better law and order. Senior BJP leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a gathering at Maharana Pratap Inter College, Gorakhpur. He claimed that BJP is going to win more than 300 seats this time as well. BJP President JP Nadda campaigned in Jalon district. Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra held door-to-door campaign for Congress party candidates in Ghaziabad district. She said that the youth and farmers are anguished over the policies of the state and central government. BSP Chief Mayawati will address a political rally in Amroha district today. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav and President of Rashtriya Lok Dal Jayant Chaudhary are in Agra district for campaign for their party candidates.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Exactly 100 years ago, on the 4th of February 1922, the Chorizo Incident took place. Gandhiji had launched the non-cooperation movement on the 1st of August 1920. As the movement gathered momentum over the next year and a half, large number of volunteers became active across the country. In January 1922, the Gorakhpur Congress Committee and the Khilafat Committee urged peasants to lead the picketing of shops selling foreign items. The police cracked down on volunteers and severely beat up some peasants. This incident infuriated the local people. On February the 4th, people assembled in the town of Chorizo and proceeded to picket the Mundera Bazaar, which was close to the Chorizo police station. When the police opened up fire, a volcano of anger erupted amongst the protesters.
Protesters came down heavily on the police. The crowd set the police station on fire. 23 police personnel died and a lot of police property was destroyed. Mahatma Gandhi was shocked by the incident and he decided to halt the non-cooperation movement, which was finally stopped on 12 February 1922.
More than 200 protesters were put up on trial by the British administration for the Chorizo incident, and 6 of them died in police custody. After an 8-month-long trial, 172 people were sentenced to death. This verdict met severe backlash, after which the Allahabad High Court revised its judgment and sentenced 19 to death, 110 to life imprisonment, and the remaining received long jail terms. Today, a Shaheed Smarak stands at the site in honor of those martyrs. AIR News salutes the brave sons of the soil.
We also remember the nationalist leader M.A. Iyengar, Madhabushi Anantasayanam Iyengar, who was born on 4th February 1891 at Tiruchanur near the spiritual town of Tirupati. Srinivasa, Sri Venkatesha, Bhaktavatsala, Bhagavata Priya. Iyengar was drawn into the freedom movement at a very early age. Within his home state, he was one of the leading figures of the Indian National Congress. Responding to Gandhiji's call for non-cooperation, Iyengar suspended his legal practice during 1921 and 22.
Between 1940 and 1944, Iyengar was imprisoned for nearly 3 years. First, for taking part in the individual Satyagraha campaign, and later in the Quit India movement.
When G.V. Mavlankar was chosen as the Speaker of the Constituent Assembly for legislative functions, Iyengar was chosen to be its Deputy Speaker. Thus, when the first Lok Sabha was constituted in 1952, Iyengar was the unanimous choice to be its Deputy Speaker. After the sudden demise of G.V. Mavlankar, Iyengar was elected unanimously to preside over the Lok Sabha on 8th of March 1956.
During his brief tenure as the Speaker of the first Lok Sabha, Iyengar proved himself a worthy inheritor of the high traditions in the parliamentary life. Iyengar was thus the unanimous choice of the House to be its Speaker in the second and third Lok Sabha also. In 1962, he resigned from the post of Speaker to serve as the Governor of Bihar.
Iyengar also remained active socially in the field of education. Iyengar breathed his last on 19th March 1978. AIR News pays tribute to the great leader. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. Indian classical music lovers pay homage to legendary singer Pandit Bhimsen Joshi on his birth anniversary today. As the doyen of Hindustani classical music, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi enthralled audiences through his soulful khayal renderings, bhajans and abhangs.
Uttar Pradesh has been selected as the best state tableau of Republic Day Parade 2022. The tableau of Uttar Pradesh was based on the theme One District, One Product and Kashi Vishwanath Dham. A total of 12 states and union territories have participated during the Republic Day Parade this time. In the ongoing ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup in Antigua, 4-time champions India will face England in the final tomorrow and will be aiming to extend their dominance in the competition.
Vice-Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, Jagdish Kumar, has been appointed as the Chairman of University Grants Commission UGC. Mr. Kumar has been appointed for a period of 5 years from the date of his assumption of charge for the post or until he attains the age of 65. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Government reiterates its commitment to form MSP committee after the State Assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi virtually addresses voters of Meerut, Ghaziabad, Aligarh, Hapur and Noida. Filing of nominations for 6th phase of Assembly elections in Uttar Pradesh begins. Senior BJP leader and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath files nomination from Gorakhpur constituency. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 168 crore 47 lakh mark. Schools, colleges and universities to reopen in Delhi from Monday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to unveil Statue of Equality in Hyderabad tomorrow. India expresses concern over China's effort to politicize Beijing Winter Olympics. Music lovers pay homage to doyen of Indian classical music Pandit Bhimsen Joshi on his birth anniversary. And in cricket, India to face England in the final of Under-19 World Cup at Antigua tomorrow. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.